Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Today we discuss a popular parenting book. Let's get started. We're diving into Parenting the New Teen in the Age of Anxiety by Dr. John Duffy. This book really digs deep into what it's like to raise a teenager today. And honestly, it's a whole new ballgame from when we were kids.
Yeah, you're telling me it's definitely not your parents' adolescence anymore. Dr. Duffy talks about how adolescence is starting earlier and lasting longer. It's what he calls extended adolescence. Kids are grappling with questions about their identity and place in the world at much younger ages. I mean, speak about it. Children are bombarded with information about global issues, complex social dynamics, and future career paths. And all this while their brains are still developing.
Right. It's no wonder they're feeling overwhelmed. And then there's this concept Duffy calls empathy overload. Can you unpack that a bit? It sounds like they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yeah, it's exactly that. They're exposed to a constant stream of information about the struggles of others. From global crises to their friends' personal problems. This can make them incredibly empathetic, but it also creates a huge emotional burden. Duffy talks about teens becoming each other's de facto therapists, staying up all night, offering support, dealing with really heavy situations.
Oh, wow. That's a lot for anyone to handle, let alone a teenager who's still figuring things out themselves. And speaking of information overload, we can't forget about the elephant in the room, social media.
Oh, absolutely. Social media adds a whole other layer of complexity. Duffy highlights how it shapes teenagers' identities and self-worth. There's this constant pressure to present a perfect one-line persona, leading to comparisons, FOMO, fear of missing out, for those who aren't familiar, and just a whole lot of anxiety.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that. I still find myself scrolling through those perfectly curated feeds and wondering if I'm missing out. It's exhausting. But for teenagers who are already grappling with so much uncertainty, social media can really amplify those insecurities. Duffy gives a really striking example in the book. A teenage girl named Christine, who spends hours editing her photos to the point where she's unrecognizable.
Yeah, that's right. And it's all for those likes and validation. Think about what that says about the pressure teens feel to conform to these unrealistic online standards. They're essentially creating a fictionalized version of themselves just to be accepted.
So we've got this extended adolescence, empathy overload, and the added pressure of social media. It paints a pretty intense picture of what it's like to be a teenager today. With all these challenges, what advice does Dr. Duffy offer parents? How do we even begin to support our teens in this anxiety-ridden world?
Well, one of the core concepts in the book is the emotional bank account, or EBA. Think of it like a real bank account. You make deposits through positive interactions and withdrawals through negative ones. Dr. Duffy stresses the importance of having a positive balance in the EBA with your teen.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So how do we make those deposits? Is it just about being nice to our kids?
It's more than just being nice. It's about quality time, active listening, showing empathy, and recognizing their efforts. It's those little moments of connection that build trust and make them feel seen and understood. And here's where it gets really interesting. Duffy says you need a 5.1 ratio. That's 5 positive interactions for every negative one.
Wow, 5 to 1. That's a good ratio to keep in mind. It makes you realize how quickly those negative interactions like criticism or arguments can add up.
Exactly. And it's a good reminder to be mindful of how we're communicating with our teens. It's not about letting them get away with everything, but it's about consciously creating more positive interactions.
So it's like we're investing in our relationship with them, making sure there's a strong foundation of trust and connection.
Precisely. And that strong foundation is crucial because, as Duffy points out, teens are more likely to listen to us and seek our guidance when they feel that we're on their side, not just policing their every move.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about building a partnership, not a dictatorship.
And building that partnership requires us to create space for them to be themselves. Duffy talks about the importance of sanctuary for teens. These are spaces, physical or emotional, where they can escape overstimulation and recharge.
I love that idea. Everyone needs a sanctuary, a place to decompress and just be. For some teens, it might be their bedroom. For others, it might be a favorite hobby or spending time in nature. What are some examples of sanctuaries that Dr. Duffy mentions?
He talks about how important it is for teens to have spaces where they can disconnect from technology and the constant barrage of information. It could be a room in the house where screens are banned, a quiet spot in nature, or even a dedicated time for mindfulness or meditation.
It seems like creating those spaces of sanctuary could be especially important in today's world, where teens are constantly bombarded with stimulation.
Exactly. Duffy emphasizes that these sanctuaries provide a much-needed respite from the pressures of modern life. allowing teens to reconnect with themselves, recharge their batteries, and develop a sense of inner peace.
So it's not just about giving them physical space, it's about encouraging them to create those mental and emotional spaces as well.
Precisely. And, those sanctuaries can be instrumental in helping teens manage their anxiety and stress levels. It's about giving them the tools and resources to cope with the challenges they're facing.
That's a great point. It's not about shielding them from the world, but about equipping them with the skills to navigate it effectively. And speaking of navigating the world, let's talk about those tough conversations that every parent of a teenager dreads. The ones about drugs, alcohol, sex, and even suicide.
Yeah, Duffy doesn't shy away from those difficult topics. He emphasizes the importance of open and honest communication, starting those conversations early and approaching them with understanding rather than judgment.
That's so important. We can't just bury our heads in the sand and hope those issues will magically disappear. We need to be proactive and create a safe space for our teens to talk to us about these things.
Exactly. Duffy provides specific advice on how to approach these conversations in a way that acknowledges reality, but also promotes safety and well-being. For example, when talking about alcohol, he suggests being realistic and understanding the pressures they face, rather than just saying, don't drink.
Which makes a lot more sense because, let's be real, teens are going to be exposed to these things whether we like it or not. It's better to have open communication and equip them to make informed decisions.
That's a big part of building that trust and resilience that Duffy talks about throughout the book. He believes that we need to trust our teens to find their own paths and build resilience through experience, even if it means making mistakes along the way.
That could be a tough pill to swallow for parents, right? We want to protect our kids from pain and disappointment. But sometimes those experiences are the most valuable lessons they can learn. It reminds me of that inspiring story Duffy shares about Stephen, the late starter, who found success despite his struggles.
Exactly. Stephen's story perfectly illustrates Duffy's point that every teen's journey is unique and that they have the potential to overcome challenges and find their own way. It's about having faith in their abilities and trusting them to navigate their own path.
And that trust is so important. It's about empowering them to become independent, resilient adults.
Absolutely. And speaking of empowerment, Duffy also talks about the evolving concept of success. It's no longer just about getting into the best colleges and landing high-paying jobs. It's about finding a path that aligns with your passions and purpose, even if it's unconventional.
I think that's something we can all learn from. We often get caught up in the traditional markers of success and forget to prioritize our teens' individual passions and strengths. Duffy encourages parents to be open to their teens exploring different paths and discovering their own unique definitions of success.
And that open-mindedness extends to the way we view parenting itself. Duffy talks about parenting as a spiritual practice, a journey of self-discovery and growth for both the parent and the child. It's about seeing our teens for who they truly are, celebrating their individuality, and fostering a deep and spiritual connection that transcends the ups and downs of adolescence.
I love that idea. It's about moving beyond the day-to-day struggles and fostering a connection that nourishes both the parent and the teen. He shares a really insightful anecdote about his own parenting approach, specifically how he and his wife handled the 9/11 attacks when their son was young.
Oh, right. He talks about how they carefully controlled the narrative, shielding their son from the overwhelming and potentially traumatizing news coverage. It was a great example of how we can protect our kids' emotional well-being, even in the face of difficult and scary situations.
Which is so important. It's not about pretending that bad things don't happen, but about being mindful of how we present information to our teens and creating a sense of safety and security for them.
Exactly. Duffy emphasizes that safety doesn't mean shielding them from the real world. It's about equipping them with the tools and skills to navigate life's challenges, to make informed decisions, and to develop their own resilience.
So it's about giving them the space to experience life, to learn, to grow, and to develop their own resilience. And that includes allowing them to make mistakes and learn from them.
Duffy believes that failure and setbacks are opportunities for growth. He encourages parents to embrace a more compassionate and accepting approach to their teens' missteps. It's not about condoning bad behavior, but about recognizing that mistakes are inevitable and that they can be valuable learning experiences.
So it's about being there to support them, to offer guidance, and to help them process those difficult emotions. And that leads to another important aspect of parenting that Duffy highlights: fostering self-awareness and emotional regulation skills in teens.
Absolutely. He provides practical advice on how to help teens identify and manage their emotions effectively. It's about helping them develop a toolbox of coping mechanisms for dealing with stress, anxiety, and all those other big emotions that come with being a teenager.
So it's about helping them develop a sense of emotional literacy, understanding their own emotions and developing healthy ways to express and manage them.
Exactly. And Duffy even talks about the role of music as a powerful tool for emotional expression and release. Music can be a universal language, a way for teens to connect with their emotions and find solace in shared experiences. He encourages parents to listen to their teens' music, even if it's not their personal taste, as a way to show interest in their world and build those bridges of connection.
That's a great reminder. It's about meeting them where they are, even if it's in a musical genre we don't particularly enjoy.
Precisely. It's about making an effort to understand their world and to show them that we care about what's important to them. And that includes having those open conversations about their social lives, their online experiences, and even their romantic relationships. Duffy delves into the hookup culture and how it's impacting teens' relationships and self-worth. He talks about the pressures they face to conform to these casual relationship dynamic and the potential risks associated with them.
It's a really important conversation to have with our teens because they're navigating a whole new set of relationship norms and expectations. And as with all these sensitive topics, it's about approaching those conversations with an open mind and a willingness to listen without judgment.
Duffy believes in the power of communication to create understanding and empathy. It's about providing a safe space for them to share their experiences and to process their feelings. And that includes talking about the difficult stuff, the topics that might make us uncomfortable as parents, like pornography, sexting, and the influence of social media on their perceptions of sex and relationships.
These are definitely not easy conversations to have, but as Duffy points out, ignoring these issues won't make them go away. In fact, it might make them more dangerous. He encourages parents to start those conversations early, even before they think their teens are ready, and to create an ongoing dialogue about these important topics.
Exactly. It's about normalizing these conversations and creating an environment where teens feel comfortable coming to their parents for guidance and support. And Duffy also emphasizes the importance of promoting healthy sleep habits in teens. He explains how sleep deprivation can exacerbate anxiety, depression, and other mental health challenges.
Which makes sense because when we're tired, we're just not at our best, mentally or emotionally. He recommends setting consistent bedtimes, creating calming bedtime routines, and limiting screen time before bed. And he's a big advocate for keeping screens out of the bedroom, right?
Absolutely. He believes that having phones and other devices in the bedroom disrupts sleep and makes it harder for teens to disconnect and unwind.
So it's all about creating that separation between technology and rest. And it's not just about sleep, it's about teaching them how to manage all aspects of their lives effectively. Duffy also discusses the importance of teaching teens about financial literacy.
Which is something that often gets overlooked. We assume teens will just magically figure out how to manage money. Duffy believes that financial literacy is a critical life skill that needs to be taught early on. He suggests involving teens in family financial discussions, giving them opportunities to earn and manage their own money, and teaching them basic budgeting and saving skills.
So it's about equipping them with the knowledge and tools to make responsible financial decisions and setting them up for financial independence and success.
Exactly. And Duffy also stresses the importance of parents being aware of the resources available to support teens' mental health and well-being. He acknowledges that parenting teens in today's world can be incredibly challenging, and he encourages parents to seek professional help when needed.
So it's about recognizing that we don't have to do it all alone. There are therapists, counselors, and other mental health professionals who can provide guidance and support.
Duffy emphasizes that seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. It's about prioritizing our teens' mental health and well-being.
And that's really the overarching message of the book, right? It's about creating a culture of support and understanding for our teens, equipping them with the tools to navigate the challenges of adolescence, and empowering them to thrive in a complex and ever-changing world.
Well said. Duffy's book is a valuable resource for any parent who wants to better understand and support their teen in the age of anxiety. It's packed with practical advice, relatable anecdotes, and a genuine sense of compassion for both teens and parents.
And it offers a roadmap for fostering a strong and connected relationship with your teen, even during those turbulent teenage years. He even suggests this interesting thought experiment for parents. Imagine designing a course in emotional well-being for teens. What would you include?
What a thought-provoking question. It really gets you thinking about the essential skills and knowledge we need to equip our teens with to navigate the complexities of life.
It's about moving beyond the traditional academic curriculum and prioritizing their emotional intelligence and well-being.
Duffy believes that emotional well-being is the foundation for success in all areas of life.
And it's something we can all work towards, both as individuals and as a society. By fostering open communication, building trusting relationships, and creating supportive environments, we can help our teens thrive and reach their full potential. Now let's talk about a really important topic, the changing landscape of sexuality and gender identity in teens.
Yeah, Duffy acknowledges that teens today are more open and aware of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities.
He talks about the importance of parents being accepting and supportive of their teens' exploration and self-discovery in these areas.
He stresses that rejecting or invalidating a teen's sexual orientation or gender identity can have devastating consequences for their mental health and well-being.
So it's about creating a safe and loving environment where teens feel comfortable coming to their parents for guidance and support, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity.
Duffy also delves into the difficult topic of sexual assault and its impact on teens.
He talks about the importance of having open and honest conversations about consent, boundaries, and healthy relationships. He encourages parents to teach their teens about the warning signs of abusive relationships and to empower them to speak up if they experience or witness any form of sexual harassment or assault.
He also stresses the importance of seeking professional help for teens who have experienced any form of sexual trauma. Duffy believes that early intervention and support can make a significant difference in a teen's recovery and healing process. He also provides guidance on how to talk to teens about suicide and suicidal ideation.
He acknowledges that this is a difficult and sensitive topic, but he stresses that avoiding these conversations can be dangerous. He encourages parents to be aware of the warning signs of suicidal behavior and to seek professional help immediately if they have any concerns.
Duffy emphasizes that there is help available and no one should suffer in silence. He also talks about the importance of creating a culture of support and understanding for teens who are struggling with mental health challenges. He believes that we need to break the stigma surrounding mental illness and create environments where teens feel comfortable seeking help.
So it's about normalizing these conversations and providing access to resources and support.
He also talks about the important role that physical activity and time spent in nature can play in promoting teens' mental and emotional well-being. He encourages parents to encourage their teens to engage in regular exercise and to spend time outdoors.
Duffy believes that these activities can help reduce stress, improve mood, and promote overall well-being. He also discusses the importance of fostering creativity and self-expression in teens.
He encourages parents to support their teens' artistic endeavors, whether it's music, art, writing, or any other form of creative expression.
So it's about nurturing their passions and talents and providing opportunities for them to explore their creativity. Duffy believes that creative expression can be a powerful outlet for emotions and a source of joy and fulfillment. And that's really what it's all about, right? Helping our teens navigate the challenges of adolescence while fostering their passions, nurturing their well-being, and empowering them to lead happy, healthy, and fulfilling lives.
Well said. Duffy's book provides a valuable framework for doing just that.
It's a must-read for any parent who wants to better understand and support their teen in today's world.
And one thing that really struck me in the book was Duffy's discussion of the vibe in our homes. It's something we might not always think about consciously, but it plays a huge role in our teens' emotional well-being.
Totally. Like if your home is constantly chaotic and stressful, it's going to rub off on your teen, right?
Exactly. Duffy talks about the importance of creating a home environment that's calm, supportive, and nurturing.
So it's about being mindful of the energy we're bringing into our homes and intentionally creating a space that feels safe and peaceful.
He suggests practical things like establishing screen-free zones, having family meals together, and encouraging open communication.
I love that. Those little rituals or routines can make a big difference in setting a positive tone for the whole family.
And he also talks about the importance of modeling healthy coping mechanisms for our teens.
Because let's be real, we're all stressed out these days, right? So if we're constantly snapping at each other or zoning out in front of the TV, our teens are going to pick up on those unhealthy habits.
Exactly. Duffy emphasizes the importance of parents taking care of their own mental and emotional well-being so that they can be the best possible support system for their teens.
So it's about practicing self-care, setting boundaries, and finding healthy ways to manage our own stress. He even talks about the importance of parents having their own sanctuaries, places where they can go to decompress and recharge.
Which is so important. We can't pour from an empty cup, right? We need to prioritize our own well-being so we can show up as our best selves for our teens.
And one thing that really resonated with me was Duffy's advice on navigating those inevitable conflicts that arise during the teenage years.
Oh yeah, because those teenage years are definitely not all sunshine and rainbows, right? They're going to be arguments, disagreements, and power struggles.
Right, and Duffy encourages parents to approach those conflicts with empathy and understanding rather than resorting to punishments or lectures, which can be really hard, especially when you're feeling frustrated or angry.
He suggests taking a step back, trying to see the situation from your teen's perspective and focusing on finding solutions together.
It's about collaboration, not control, right?
Exactly. Duffy believes that when we approach conflict with the spirit of collaboration, we can actually strengthen our relationship with our teen and teach them valuable communication and problem-solving skills.
And that's a much better outcome than just yelling at each other, making everyone feel worse, right?
Absolutely. Duffy emphasizes the importance of creating a home environment where mistakes are seen as opportunities for growth rather than reasons for shame or punishment.
That's so important. We want our teens to feel safe, taking risks, trying new things, and learning from their experiences, even the messy ones.
Duffy talks about the importance of fostering a growth mindset in our teens, encouraging them to see challenges as opportunities for learning and development. And that includes academic challenges, right? Because let's be real, school can be a major source of stress for teens.
Absolutely. Duffy acknowledges the intense pressure teens face to succeed academically, especially with college admissions become increasingly competitive.
He talks about the importance of finding a balance between encouraging academic achievement and prioritizing their mental health and well-being.
He encourages parents to have open conversations with their teens about their academic goals and to support them in finding a path that feels right for them, even if it's not the traditional straight A route.
So it's about recognizing that success isn't one size fits all, and that there are many different paths to a fulfilling and meaningful life.
Exactly. Duffy stresses the importance of helping teens define their own versions of success based on their individual passions, talents, and values.
And that includes exploring career options that might not have even existed when we were growing up, right?
Absolutely. Duffy talks about the rapidly evolving job market and the importance of encouraging teens to be adaptable, curious, and open to new possibilities.
So it's about fostering a spirit of lifelong learning and equipping them with the skills to thrive in a world that's constantly changing.
Duffy believes that by nurturing our teens' curiosity, creativity, and resilience, we can empower them to navigate the complexities of adulthood with confidence and grace. And one thing that really struck me was Duffy's emphasis on the importance of playfulness and humor in parenting teens.
Yes, it's easy to get caught up in the seriousness of parenting and forget to have fun.
Duffy reminds us that laughter is a powerful antidote to stress, and that finding moments of joy and connection can make a big difference in our relationship with our teens.
He suggests things like playing games together, sharing funny stories, and just generally lightening up a bit.
Because life is too short to be serious all the time, right?
Exactly. And one thing that really resonated with me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of gratitude.
Oh yeah, gratitude is such a powerful practice, right?
Duffy encourages parents to model gratitude for their teens, expressing appreciation for their efforts, their kindness, their unique personalities.
And to encourage teens to cultivate their own gratitude practices, right?
Exactly. He suggests things like keeping a gratitude journal, writing thank you notes, or simply taking a few moments each day to reflect on the things they're grateful for.
Because when we focus on the good stuff, it shifts our whole perspective, right?
Absolutely. Gratitude helps us appreciate the present moment and find joy in the little things.
And that's a valuable lesson for teens who are often bombarded with messages about what they lack or what they need to improve.
Duffy believes that by fostering a spirit of gratitude in our teens, we can help them develop a more positive and resilient outlook on life.
And one thing that really stood out to me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of finding mentors and role models for our teens.
Yes, he talks about how important it is for teens to have positive influences in their lives, people who can offer guidance, support, and inspiration. And those mentors don't necessarily have to be parents or teachers, right?
Exactly. Duffy encourages parents to help their teens connect with coaches, youth group leaders, community members, or anyone who embodies the values and qualities they want to cultivate in their teen.
Because sometimes teens need to hear those messages from someone other than their parents, right?
Absolutely. And one thing that really struck me was Duffy's emphasis on the importance of letting go.
Letting go. What do you mean by that?
Duffy talks about the need for parents to gradually relinquish control as their teens mature, giving them more freedom and responsibility.
Which can be so hard, right? We want to protect our teens from making mistakes, but we also need to give them the space to learn and grow.
Exactly.
Duffy believes that by gradually letting go, we're actually empowering our teens to develop the independence, decision-making skills, and self-reliance they'll need to thrive as adults.
So it's about finding that balance between guidance and autonomy,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Duffy encourages parents to view their role as shifting from being managers of their teens' lives to being consultants.
So instead of dictating their every move, we're there to offer support, advice, and a listening ear,
And to trust that they have the capacity to make good decisions, even if they stumble along the way.
which can be hard, especially when we see them heading down a path we don't agree with.
Duffy reminds us that our teens are on their own journeys and that we can't control their every choice.
But we can be there to support them, offer guidance, and love them unconditionally, no matter what.
And that's really the essence of Duffy's message, isn't it? It's about loving our teens through thick and thin, celebrating their individuality, and empowering them to become the best versions of themselves.
Absolutely. One thing that really resonated with me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of family rituals and traditions.
Yes, he talks about how these rituals, whether it's a weekly family dinner or an annual vacation, can create a sense of connection, stability, and belonging for teens.
And those rituals don't have to be fancy or elaborate, right?
Exactly. Duffy emphasizes that it's the consistency and the intentionality that matter.
So it's about creating those shared experiences that weave the fabric of family life.
And one thing that really stood out to me was Duffy's advice on dealing with technology in our teens' lives.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Screens are everywhere these days, and it can be hard to set healthy boundaries.
Duffy encourages parents to have open and honest conversations with their teens about technology use, establishing clear rules and expectations.
And to model healthy tech habits themselves, right?
Absolutely, because if we're constantly on our phones, our teens are going to get the message that it's okay to be plugged in all the time.
Duffy suggests things like having tech-free zones in the home, setting limits on screen time, and encouraging teens to engage in activities that don't involve screens.
And he also talks about the importance of teaching teens to be critical consumers of media, helping them to discern fact from fiction and to be aware of the potential negative impacts of social media.
So it's about equipping them with the skills to navigate the digital world safely and responsibly.
Exactly. And one thing that really resonated with me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of teaching teens about social justice and civic engagement.
Oh yeah, that's so important, especially in today's world.
Duffy believes that teens have a responsibility to be informed and engaged citizens, advocating for positive change in their communities and the world.
He encourages parents to have conversations with their teens about social issues, to expose them to diverse perspectives, and to support their involvement in activities that promote social justice.
And he also talks about the importance of teaching teens to be allies to marginalized groups, standing up for what's right, and speaking out against injustice.
So it's about raising teens who are not only aware of the world's problems, but also empowered to be part of the solution.
Duffy believes that by nurturing our teens' empathy, compassion, and sense of social responsibility, we can help them become agents of positive change.
And one thing that really stood out to me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of helping teens find their purpose.
Yes, he talks about how teens are naturally searching for meaning and purpose in their lives.
And that finding that purpose can give them a sense of direction, motivation, and fulfillment.
Duffy encourages parents to support their teens' exploration of their interests, their values, and their passions, helping them to discover what truly lights them up. And that purpose might not be something grand or world-changing, right?
Exactly. Duffy emphasizes that purpose can be found in everyday activities, in relationships, in hobbies, in acts of service.
So it's about helping teens connect with what brings them joy, what makes them feel alive, what makes them want to get out of bed in the morning. And, one thing that really resonated with me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of faith and spirituality in teens' lives.
Oh yeah, that's something that can be really meaningful for teens, providing a sense of connection, comfort, and guidance.
Duffy encourages parents to respect their teens' spiritual beliefs, even if they differ from their own, and to support their exploration of different faith traditions if that's something they're interested in.
He believes that having a spiritual foundation can provide teens with a sense of grounding, purpose, and hope, especially during times of challenge or uncertainty.
So it's about creating a space where teens can explore their spirituality freely and authentically.
And one thing that really struck me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of self-compassion.
Self-compassion. What do you mean by that?
Duffy talks about how teens are often their own harshest critics, putting immense pressure on themselves to succeed and be perfect.
Which can be really damaging to their self-esteem and overall well-being.
Duffy encourages parents to teach their teens to be kind and understanding toward themselves, to embrace their imperfections, and to celebrate their strengths.
So it's about helping them develop a more loving and accepting relationship with themselves.
Exactly. Duffy believes that self-compassion is the foundation for resilience, self-acceptance, and overall well-being.
And that's a message we all need to hear, right? Not just teens.
Absolutely, because when we learn to be kind to ourselves, we're better able to navigate life's challenges and find joy in the journey.
And that's a message we all need to hear, right? Not just teens.
Absolutely. Because when we learn to be kind to ourselves, we're better able to navigate life's challenges and find joy in the journey. And that's what we want for our teens, isn't it? To help them develop the inner strength, the self-awareness, and the compassion to live happy, healthy, and fulfilling lives.
Well said. And Duffy's book provides a wealth of insights and practical guidance for doing just that.
It's a valuable resource for any parent who wants to raise teens who are not only successful, but also kind, compassionate, and resilient.
And who are empowered to make a positive difference in the world. You know, one thing that really stood out to me was Duffy's discussion of the importance of celebrating our teens' individuality.
Absolutely. It's so important for teens to feel seen, heard, and valued for who they truly are.
Exactly. Celebrating their unique personalities, their quirks, their talents, their passions, all of it can make a world of difference in their self-esteem and overall well-being.
Yeah, it makes you think about all the times we might unintentionally try to fit our teens into a mold or compare them to others. Duffy encourages us to let go of those expectations and embrace our teens for the amazing individuals they are.
He's right. When we celebrate their individuality, we're empowering them to embrace their true selves and to live more authentic and fulfilling lives. And that's a beautiful thing to witness, isn't it? Watching our teens blossom into those confident, compassionate, and unique individuals they were meant to be.
It really is, and it's a reminder that our role as parents is to guide and support them on their journey, not to dictate who they should be or what path they should take.
And speaking of guidance, Duffy also emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries.
Boundaries. Why boundaries?
Well, think about it. Teens, especially during adolescence, are notorious for testing limits, pushing boundaries, and challenging authority. It's a natural part of their development as they strive for independence.
That's true. I remember being that age, always wanting to push the limits and see how far I could go.
Exactly. And that's why Duffy reminds us that setting clear and consistent boundaries is essential. It creates a sense of structure, safety, and predictability for teens.
So it's about establishing rules and expectations that help teens understand what's acceptable and what's not.
Right. And it's about being firm but fair in our enforcement of those boundaries. Teens need both freedom and limits to thrive. But setting those boundaries isn't about being controlling or punitive. It's about love and protecting our teens from harm.
I can see that. It's like giving them a framework, a set of guidelines that help them navigate the world safely and responsibly.
Exactly. And it's also about helping them develop the self-discipline and responsibility they'll need to succeed in life.
So it's about finding that balance between giving them the freedom to explore and setting those limits to keep them safe and accountable.
Precisely. And, you know, another challenging aspect of parenting teens that Duffy addresses is dealing with their anger. Teen anger can be a real force of nature, right?
Oh, absolutely. Those hormones are raging, and it often feels like they're going to explode.
Right. And it's easy to get caught up in the moment and react with anger ourselves. But Duffy encourages us to take a different approach. He reminds us that teen anger is often a symptom of something deeper going on, like stress, anxiety, or those hormonal changes we talked about.
So instead of mirroring their anger, we need to try to understand what's driving their behavior.
Exactly. He suggests things like validating their feelings, giving them space to cool down, and helping them develop healthy coping mechanisms for dealing with anger, things like exercise, deep breathing, or journaling. And just as important, he reminds us that we need to model healthy anger management techniques ourselves.
That's a great point because teens are always watching us. They learn more from our actions than our words. If we're constantly yelling or slamming doors, they're going to pick up on those unhealthy habits.
Absolutely. So it's about being mindful of our own behavior and showing our teens how to express anger constructively rather than destructively.
And it's about creating a home environment where it's okay to express emotions, even the negative ones, in a healthy and appropriate way.
Right. Duffy believes that open communication is key. And he suggests a really practical tool for fostering that communication: family meetings.
Family meetings, like a board meeting, but for families.
Well, not exactly like that, but Duffy does believe that regular family meetings can be a valuable tool for communication, problem solving, and decision-making in families with teens.
So it's a dedicated time for everyone to come together, share their thoughts and feelings, and work collaboratively to address any issues or concerns.
Right. He suggests setting aside a specific time each week or month for these meetings. creating an agenda beforehand, and encouraging open and respectful dialogue during the meeting. And one of the key elements of these meetings is listening to our teens' perspectives, even if we don't agree with them.
That's so important. It's about validating their feelings and helping them feel heard and understood, which can go a long way in building trust and connection.
Absolutely. And it's also about teaching them how to communicate effectively, how to express their needs and opinions respectfully, and how to work collaboratively to find solutions.
So it's not just about airing grievances or laying down the law. It's about creating a space where everyone feels safe to express themselves and to contribute to finding solutions.
Exactly. And, another aspect of teen life that Duffy addresses is the inevitable drama that comes with those years.
Oh, teen drama. I remember those days. It felt so intense and all-consuming, like the world was ending over every little thing.
And Duffy reminds us that while it might seem overblown to us, teen drama is a normal part of adolescence.
It's how they figure out their social dynamics, their identities, and their place in the world.
Exactly. So instead of dismissing it as trivial or overreacting to every little conflict, we need to try to understand it from their perspective.
That can be tough, especially when we're exhausted from our own adult drama.
It is, but Duffy suggests things like listening without judgment, offering support and guidance, and helping them develop healthy coping mechanisms for dealing with social stress. And sometimes the best thing we can do is just be a sounding board. Let them vent their frustrations and process their emotions without trying to fix everything.
That's good advice. Because sometimes just feeling heard and validated is all they need.
You're right. And while we're talking about relationships, Duffy also emphasizes the importance of teaching teens about healthy relationships.
That's so important. They're just starting to figure out what healthy relationships look like, both romantic and platonic.
Exactly. And it's our job as parents to guide them, to teach them about the qualities of healthy relationships like respect, communication, trust, and boundaries.
And to model those qualities in our own relationships, right? Because teens learn more from what they see than from what they hear.
Absolutely. Duffy also talks about the importance of teaching teens about the warning signs of unhealthy relationships, like controlling behavior, jealousy, and emotional abuse.
So it's about equipping them with the knowledge and skills to identify and avoid potentially harmful relationships.
And to seek help if they find themselves in a situation that feels unsafe or unhealthy.
That's such an important message to get across. And speaking of stressful situations, there's one that looms large for many teens and parents: the college admissions process.
Oh, yeah, that can be a pressure cooker. The competition is fierce, and the stakes feel incredibly high.
Duffy acknowledges that it's a stressful time, but encourages parents to keep things in perspective.
He reminds us that our teens' worth isn't defined by which college they get into.
That's a good reminder for all of us. We can get so caught up in the prestige and the rankings that we forget what really matters.
Exactly. Duffy suggests focusing on finding colleges that are a good fit for our teens' academic interests, personality, and goals. It's about supporting them in developing a balanced college list rather than fixating on a few reach schools. It's about the journey, not just the destination.
And it's about helping them manage their stress levels throughout the process, encouraging them to engage in self-care activities, to lean on their support system, and to maintain a healthy perspective. It's just one chapter in their lives, not the be-all and end-all.
Right. And even as they're navigating that transition to college and adulthood, Duffy reminds us of the importance of helping teens develop a sense of purpose.
Purpose. Why purpose?
Because having a sense of purpose can be a powerful motivator. It can give teens a sense of direction, fulfillment, and resilience in the face of challenges.
It's about helping them discover what they're passionate about, what they care about, what they want to contribute to the world.
Exactly. Duffy encourages parents to support their teens' exploration of their interests, their values, and their talents. It's about helping them identify their unique strengths and passions and encouraging them to pursue activities and experiences that align with those passions, even if it's not the traditional path.
So it's not about dictating their purpose, but about supporting them in discovering it for themselves.
Right. And it's about recognizing that purpose can be found in many different forms. It doesn't have to be something grand or world-changing. It can be found in everyday activities, in relationships, in hobbies, in acts of service. It's about helping teens connect with what brings them joy, what makes them feel alive, what makes them want to get out of bed in the morning.
And that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? To see our teens light up when they find something they're truly passionate about.
It really is. And Duffy believes that when teens find their purpose, they're more likely to be engaged, motivated, and resilient in the face of challenges.
That makes sense. When you have a sense of purpose, it gives you something to strive for, something to believe in, something to get you through those tough times.
Exactly. And another thing that struck me in the book was Duffy's discussion of the importance of celebrating our teens' successes, both big and small.
Exactly.
And, another thing that struck me in the book was Duffy's discussion of the importance of celebrating our teens' successes, both big and small.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day challenges of parenting teens and forget to acknowledge their accomplishments. We need to make a conscious effort to celebrate those moments, to let them know that we're proud of them and that we see their efforts.
Duffy encourages parents to celebrate their teens' birthdays, graduations, driver's licenses, first jobs, any other accomplishments that are meaningful to them. And it doesn't have to involve grand gestures or expensive gifts.
Right.
It's the thoughtfulness and the intentionality that matter. It's about creating those memories, taking the time to recognize and acknowledge their achievements, and expressing our pride and love in a way that resonates with them.
Because those expressions of love and support can make a world of difference in their self-esteem and overall well-being.
Absolutely. And those celebrations don't have to be limited to major milestones. It's just as important to celebrate the everyday wins, the small acts of kindness, the efforts they make, the challenges they overcome. Those little moments of recognition can go a long way in boosting their self-esteem and motivation.
It's like giving them little deposits into their emotional bank account, building up that reserve of love and support.
And speaking of building up their resilience, Duffy also emphasizes the importance of teaching teens about the value of hard work.
Hard work, it's essential for success in life, but it's not always something that comes naturally to teenagers. They're still figuring out their priorities and learning how to manage their time and energy effectively.
That's true, and that's why Duffy encourages parents to model a strong work ethic. It's about showing them through our own actions that hard work is important, that it's rewarding, and that it's the key to achieving our goals.
And it's about emphasizing the importance of effort and perseverance, teaching them that success isn't always immediate, that it often requires dedication, discipline, and a willingness to keep going, even when things get tough.
Right. And it's about providing them with opportunities to develop their work ethic through chores, part-time jobs, or extracurricular activities. And just as importantly, it's about celebrating their efforts even if they don't always achieve the desired outcome.
Because sometimes the effort is just as important as the result. It's about learning to embrace the process, to learn from mistakes, and to keep striving for improvement.
Exactly. And Duffy believes that hard work is a virtue that will serve them well throughout their lives, helping them to achieve their goals, overcome challenges, and build a sense of accomplishment and self-worth.
And that sense of accomplishment is so important for their self-esteem and motivation. It gives them the confidence to keep striving, to keep learning, and to keep growing.
Absolutely. And, another challenge that many teens struggle with is procrastination.
Oh yeah, procrastination's a classic teenage struggle. Why do today what you can put off until tomorrow, right?
Right. And while it might seem like laziness or a lack of motivation, Duffy reminds us that procrastination is often a symptom of something deeper going on.
Like fear of failure, perfectionism, or feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. He encourages parents to help teens identify the underlying causes of their procrastination and to develop strategies for overcoming it, such as breaking down large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
That's a great strategy. It can feel so much less daunting when you break things down into smaller chunks.
Right. And he also suggests things like creating a structured study environment, setting realistic deadlines, and using reward systems to motivate teens.
It's about giving them the tools and support they need to manage their time and workload effectively.
And he emphasizes the importance of teaching teens time management skills, helping them to prioritize tasks, schedule their time effectively, and avoid overcommitting.
So it's about helping them develop those organizational skills that are so essential for success in life.
Exactly. And, while we're talking about helping teens develop essential life skills, Duffy also emphasizes the importance of encouraging them to take risks and embrace failure.
Because failure is an inevitable part of life, right? But it can be really hard for teens to accept that, especially when they're facing so much pressure to succeed.
It's true. But Duffy reminds us that failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone to success.
It's an opportunity to learn to grow and to develop resilience. And by encouraging teens to step outside their comfort zones and embrace challenges, we're helping them build those essential skills.
Exactly. It's about shifting our perspective on failure, seeing it as a valuable learning experience rather than a sign of weakness or inadequacy.
And it's about teaching our teens to embrace those challenges, to learn from their mistakes, and to keep striving for improvement.
Absolutely. And, all of this ties back to another important point that Duffy makes, the importance of helping teens develop a strong sense of self-worth.
Self-worth. Why self-worth?
Because having a strong sense of self-worth is essential for their mental and emotional well-being. It's about believing in themselves, valuing their unique qualities, and feeling confident in their ability to navigate the challenges of life.
It's about knowing their worth regardless of their accomplishments or external validation.
Exactly. And Duffy encourages parents to focus on their teens' strengths, to celebrate their accomplishments, and to provide them with opportunities to develop their talents and passions. It's about helping them discover what makes them unique and special, and encouraging them to embrace those qualities.
And to avoid comparing them to others, right? Because everyone is on their own unique journey with their own strengths and challenges.
Absolutely. Duffy emphasizes that self-worth comes from within and that it's not dependent on external validation or achievements. It's about helping teens develop a sense of intrinsic worth, a belief in their own value, regardless of their accomplishments or external circumstances.
It's about loving and accepting themselves for who they are, flaws and all.
You got it. And, another important aspect of helping teens thrive is teaching them about healthy communication.
Oh yeah. Communication is key in any relationship, but it can be especially challenging with teenagers. They're still developing their communication skills, and their emotions can run high.
It's true, but Duffy encourages parents to model healthy communication, to listen actively to their teens, to express their own thoughts and feelings clearly and respectfully, and to avoid interrupting or dismissing their teens' perspectives.
It's about creating a safe space for them to express themselves, to share their thoughts and feelings, and to know that they're being heard and understood.
Exactly, and it's also about teaching them how to communicate effectively, how to express their needs and opinions respectfully, and how to navigate conflict constructively.
And to be patient, right? Because teens might not always communicate in the most mature or articulate way, but it's important to meet them where they are and to guide them towards developing those healthy communication skills.
Absolutely, Duffy emphasizes that healthy communication is a skill that takes time and practice to develop. And by creating a home environment where open and respectful communication is valued, we're helping teens build those skills and strengthen their relationships.
And that's something that will benefit them throughout their lives in all their relationships, personal and professional.
You're right. And speaking of preparing them for the future, Duffy also offers guidance on navigating the transition to adulthood.
Oh yeah, that could be a scary time for both teens and parents. They're on the cusp of so much change, and it can be hard to let go.
It's a bittersweet time for sure, but Duffy encourages parents to view this transition as a process, recognizing that teens will need our support and guidance as they navigate the challenges of adulthood.
So it's about gradually giving them more responsibility, trusting them to make their own decisions, and being there to offer support and advice when they need it. It's about finding that balance between letting go and staying connected.
Exactly, and it's about celebrating their successes, both big and small, and acknowledging their efforts and accomplishments.
Because those expressions of love and support can make a world of difference as they embark on this new chapter in their lives.
Duffy believes that by nurturing our teens' independence, resilience, and self-confidence, we're empowering them to thrive as adults and to make a positive contribution to the world.
So it's about letting go with love, knowing that we've given them the tools and the foundation to succeed.
And that's a powerful feeling, isn't it, to know that we've done our best to prepare them for the journey ahead.
It really is. It's a mix of pride, excitement, and maybe a little bit of sadness as we watch them spread their wings and fly.
And, as we wrap up our deep dive into parenting the new teen in the age of anxiety, I think it's important to emphasize that this book is not just a guide for parents.
It's also a valuable resource for teens themselves. Right, Duffy writes in a way that's both insightful and relatable, offering teens a glimpse into the challenges they're facing and providing them with practical strategies for navigating those challenges.
Exactly. It's a book that parents and teens can read together, sparking important conversations and fostering a deeper understanding of each other.
That's such a great idea. It could be a way to open up those lines of communication and create a shared language for talking about these important issues.
And it's a book that offers hope, reminding us that even in the face of anxiety, uncertainty, and the complexities of modern life, our teens have the potential to thrive and to make a positive difference in the world.
It's a message that we all need to hear, both parents and teens, because sometimes it feels like the world is falling apart and it's easy to get lost in the negativity.
But Duffy reminds us that there's still so much good in the world, and that our teens have the power to make a positive impact.
If you could distill this entire book into one piece of advice for parents of teens, what would it be?
I think it would be this: listen to your teen with an open heart, free from judgment, and let them know that you see them, you hear them, and you love them unconditionally.
That's beautiful and so true, because at the end of the day, that's what our teens need most, to feel loved, supported, and understood. And when we create that foundation of love and connection, We're giving them the strength and resilience to face any challenge that comes their way.
Well said.
That's such a powerful message. And it really encapsulates the essence of Duffy's book. It's not about having all the answers or being the perfect parent. It's about showing up with love, compassion, and a willingness to listen.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that parenting teens is a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, challenges and triumphs, moments of frustration, and moments of pure joy. But through it all, that unwavering love and support is the anchor that will help our teens navigate those turbulent waters.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's like we're the lighthouse guiding them through the storm, offering a beacon of hope and a safe harbor when they need it most. And that reminds me of another important point Duffy makes: the importance of teaching teens about gratitude.
Oh, yes, gratitude. It's such a simple practice, but it can have such a profound impact on our well-being.
It's about shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have, from what's wrong to what's right. And it's especially important for teenagers who are often bombarded with messages about what they should be, what they should have, and how they should look.
Duffy encourages parents to model gratitude, to express appreciation for their teens, their efforts, their kindness, their unique personalities, and to encourage teens to cultivate their own gratitude practices. It could be something as simple as keeping a gratitude journal, writing thank you notes, or taking a few moments each day to reflect on the things they're grateful for.
It's about training our minds to focus on the positive, to appreciate the good things in our lives, and to recognize the abundance that surrounds us.
And when we cultivate that sense of gratitude, it can transform our perspective, helping us to see the world through a more positive lens. And that's a gift we can give our teens, a gift that will serve them well throughout their lives.
Well said. And, while we're on the topic of gifts, Duffy also talks about the importance of giving teens the gift of unstructured time.
Unstructured time. You mean like free time boredom?
Exactly. It might seem counterintuitive in today's hyper-scheduled world where every minute of our teens' lives seems to be filled with activities, classes, and obligations.
But Duffy argues that unstructured time is essential for their development. It allows them to explore their interests, to daydream, to be creative, to simply be kids.
It's a time for them to recharge their batteries, to connect with their inner selves, and to discover who they are outside of all those roles and expectations.
Exactly. And, research has shown that unstructured play is crucial for children's cognitive, social, and emotional development. It helps them develop problem-solving skills, creativity, and resilience. And those benefits extend into the teenage years.
So it's not about letting them waste time or zoning out in front of screens all day. It's about giving them the freedom to explore,
To create.
to just be.
Right. It's about trusting them to find their own way, to discover their own passions, and to develop their own sense of self. And, another important aspect of supporting teens' development that Duffy highlights is the importance of physical activity and time spent in nature.
Oh yeah, getting them off those screens and out into the fresh air. It can be a battle sometimes, but it's so worth it.
Duffy encourages parents to encourage their teens to engage in regular exercise, whether it's playing a sport, going for a walk, or dancing in their bedrooms, and to spend time outdoors connecting with nature, breathing fresh air, and soaking up the sunshine.
It's about finding activities that they enjoy, that get their bodies moving, and that help them release stress and tension.
Exactly. And there's a growing body of research that shows the incredible benefits of physical activity and time spent in nature for both our physical and mental health. It can reduce stress, improve mood boost, cognitive function, and even strengthen our immune systems.
It's like a miracle cure, and it's free.
And it's fun. So let's encourage our teens to get out there, explore the world, and move their bodies.
And while they're out there exploring, let's encourage them to embrace their creativity.
Creativity, yes. It's such an important part of being human, and it's something that often gets neglected in our education system and our fast-paced, results-oriented society.
Duffy encourages parents to support their teens' artistic endeavors, whether it's music, art, writing, or any other form of creative expression. It's about nurturing their passions and talents and providing opportunities for them to explore their creativity.
And it's about recognizing that creativity isn't just about producing a finished product. It's about the process, the exploration, the joy of creating something new.
It's about letting go of perfectionism and embracing the messiness of the creative process.
And it's about celebrating their efforts, their ideas, their unique expressions, even if they're not perfect or professional.
Because creativity is about so much more than just talent or skill. It's about self-expression, imagination, and problem-solving. It's about tapping into that innate human capacity to create something new and beautiful out of nothing.
And as we come to the end of our deep dive into Dr. Duffy's book, I think it's important to remember that every teen is unique. Every family is different. and there's no one-size-fits-all approach to parenting.
That's so true. What works for one teen might not work for another, and what works for one family might not work for another.
But the principles that Duffy outlines in his book, love, compassion, understanding, connection, support, those are universal.
Those are the foundations of healthy relationships, and they're the keys to helping our teens thrive no matter what challenges they face.
And I think the most important takeaway from this book is that we're not alone in this journey. There are resources available, there are people who care, and there's always hope.
Well said. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into Parenting the New Teen in the Age of Anxiety by Dr. John Duffy. It's been a fascinating and thought-provoking journey, and we hope you've gained some valuable insights along the way.
We encourage you to check out the book for yourself and to continue these important conversations with your teens.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe to our channel for more book reviews and recommendations. We hope to see you on the next episode. Bye.